Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a long-term review on the 2022 Orbea Occam LT. It's 150 millimeters of travel in the front and 150 millimeters of travel in the rear. In the front you have a Fox 36 factory with the Grip 2 damper, and then in the rear you have a Fox factory DHX XT throughout. So we have XT brakes, drivetrain shifts really good. Even after 8 months, there's no issues. It's got Galfer rotors in the front and in the rear. This came with the race face arc wheel set, but I wanted to try out some carbon hoops. So I ended up going with Hunt wheels with their tie coated stainless steel spokes. And they're pretty good about I didn't save any weight because these are the Enduro wheel sets. I changed the tires out. Originally had Maxxis Minion DHF, DHR in the rear, 2.5 in the front, 2.4 in the rear. But for the trails I ride, just the weight on the rotational weight on those, it's just not good for, I ride pretty much groomed trails for the most part. So I switched over to the Pirelli Scorpion series of tires, and they've been holding up pretty good. They are very fast rolling, especially the rear. I'll do a close up there, you can see that. But aggressive front with a really fast XC rear with, I have a Victoria airliner insert in the rear for just in case moments. Let's talk about geometry numbers on this Orbea Occam LT. This is a size large. You have a 65.5 degree head tube angle, a 76.5 degree seat tube angle, 440 millimeter chainstays with an overall wheelbase of 1224. That's pretty good. It's kind of a shorter bike. Let's take a look at some footage on the trail and hope you guys enjoy it. All right, let's talk about climbing efficiency on this bike. So with that 65.5 degree head tube angle and combination of the 76.5 degree seat tube angle, you are right above the bars and you can stay seated for the majority of your climbs. Geometry just helps out a ton for climbing. And this is no slouch for climbing too. Even with the 150 millimeters in the rear, it stays to the ground really good. And doesn't lift as easy in the front. Now it comes down to that geometry and the reach. Being at 475 for a size 6'1" guy, this is perfect. XT components shift really well. No issues after 8 months. We're gonna continue our climb through these nasty rocks. Good old New England chunk. The wheelbase on this bike is 1224 millimeters, so not ridiculously long, which again helps to with the maneuvering of getting this bike around. All right, let's talk about weight with this bike. This bike comes in at 31.8 pounds with its current setup, which is not bad for a 150 millimeter travel bike. I don't think you're gonna get anything much lighter than that, but with the stock setup, it came in at 33 with the Maxxis and the alloy wheels, so saved a little bit of weight. Wasn't much. More of the weight was, I think, in the tires. Overall, I think Orbea did a great job with their pure trail geometry that they call it. They balance out the uphills with the downs. Starting to head downhill now a little bit. You can tell this bike is very playful with that coil in the rear. It does stay glued through the chunk, but if you need to boost it at any point, say over this roller, you can do that easy. It burns up good. Table that. Super playful, good in the turns. And rollers like this pretty much eats them up for breakfast. And for those longer climbs, you can lock or firm up the rear suspension on the DHX. Turns it into like a, say like a 80 to 100 millimeters in the rear. I'm surprised how well this firms up. Where the 150 millimeters in the front comes in handy over these tougher, rockier bits here. Just keep on a straight line. Full 29er wheels, so rollover is really good. Rock gardens like this is where this bike really comes alive. They will just clear right through most of it. So, if you are looking at the Occam and you want a little bit more travel, you can upgrade to the LT version and not have to worry about really much at all. This is one of my favorite trails because you can zip. Just an overall fast bike, super light, playful on the trail, and really good in the air. Little sneaky line here. Now let's talk about the bad things on the bike. On the pivot points, right here, this bolt likes to come loose. It came loose. I had to use Loctite onto it and retorque it. After pretty much every ride, I was retorquing. I was like, you know what, I'm getting some Loctite, I'm throwing it on there. And for the most part, it's held. So one thing to look out with the bike is that certain pivot point there in the rear suspension. Other than that, the tool, the multi-tool that comes into the frame, it's magnetic and it's not very strong at all. So end up losing it on the first ride. Looked on Orbea's website to see how much it cost, and it was like $60. I'll have to quote it below, or I'll insert it into the video. But regardless, $60 for a multi-tool that only has like 4 Allen keys on it, I'm good. And I'll just leave it out. There is a rubber mount that sits underneath here. That, from day one, when I brought it out of the shop, it had a small gap in it. Like the, whatever adhesive that Orbea uses is terrible. It came off like in a week. So I did reattach it with side sticky tape, which lasted a little bit longer, but then it fell off again. It was collecting dirt and debris in there, so I just ripped it off. I do plan on fixing it at some point and putting it back on, but for right now, I'm not messing around with it. And then one other bad thing about this bike, it does not have CG tabs on the bottom. So you cannot run a traditional bash guard. You'll have to run one that modifies or runs into the crank set there. I changed the stock headset out right away. I went with the Cane Creek 70 series. The saddle was changed out. Physique, the saddle that comes with this bike, terrible, very bad, not comfortable at all. So I got the SCG saddle with the tie-coated alloy rails to work with the rim set.